Meşhur mizah kurma reply uş pas karan işe maşe sonuç ko delete karan. Meşhur huşu Arif sabah nazar tkezi. Meşhur yor kurma kunje reply. Quran कसम आ रिप्लाई सस कर वो रिकॉर्ड सोजन के हैं सोजन वो अगर हमसे कोई भी गलती हुई है आई एम सॉरी सर सर आई एम सॉरी सर मुझे रिकॉर्ड के सोजन
Mas eles calam para onde que é do.
Aqui banish ho tava.
Enes kavar santar bir de moka var.
Acho que depende de quando você.
Bom, vamos também आपसे आप वो तो मेरी कार से पहले मैं क्या करूँ
इसके लोग कम आगे से सारे मानो
É isso, eu estou sabendo.
मैंने मेरा कैश में काम ये मेरा उसको
Porque eu olhei essa coisa, eu olhei essa sonho, eu olhei disposição, eu olhei isso, mas sabe? Isso aí é bem.
ना करा दुश्मन
Se você errar, não é que está o estudo de gar.
Hoje, sabe da speaker ya, emişi zahirez nasıl şey? Emişi kadar ne emişi bu asıl o.
Ele espera isso para ter lá.
Não, aí tô só.
Good afternoon, all.
Ciao.
Welcome all the delegates to the program. To the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Pule and Savitribai Pule. Thank you.
नरेश ब्रदर म्यूट बैठो म्यूट बैठो सर म्यूट ఎవరు వాళ్ళు
Hello. All right.
Good afternoon, all. Welcome all the delegates to the program of 1 week national workshop on socio-religious institutions and weaker sections in India, Pule Ambedkar perspective. And thanks all the organizers and invited guests on the dais. My dear participants, and once again, welcome all the delegates to the program. Today is second day session. For today's session, the guest of honor is Professor G. Veeranna Garu, and today keynote speaker is Professor Kancha Ile Garu. With great privilege, I invite our guest of honor, Professor G. Veeranna, Director SDLC Kakatiya University, to join the session. It is my honor to invite today keynote speaker, Professor Kancha Ile Garu, Usmania University, Hyderabad, to join the session. Get into further proceedings. Thank you, one and all, for giving me this opportunity. Now I request T. Veeranna Garu to introduce today's guest of honor, Professor G. Veeranna Garu.
I convey my thanks to the director, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Study Center, for giving me this opportunity of introducing Professor G. Veeranna Garu to the session. Professor G. Veeranna Garu was born at Muttaram village, Bhimadevarpalli Mandal of Warangal Urban District on 24th of June 1961. He pursued his higher education at government institutions. He has joined in government service in 1981 as school teacher and continued his education up to BA, BEd, MA, MEd, MPhil and PhD and passed UGC NET and SLET. His areas of specialization are Indian government and politics and tribal studies. He has completed his PhD on the dissertation titled Tribal Political Leadership in Andhra Pradesh, a Study. Sir has an administrative experience as Chairman, Board of Studies, Postgraduate and Undergraduate, Kakatiya University from 2013 to 2015. He also worked as Head, Department of History and Tourism Management, Kakatiya University from 2010 to 2013. Sir has also worked as Additional Controller of Examinations, Kakatiya University from 2006 to 2009. He also worked as Joint Director, University Hostels, Kakatiya University from the period 2003 to 2007. Currently, Sir is working as Director of SDLCE, Kakatiya University. Under the guidance of Veeranna Garu, 13 students were awarded with MPhil degree and 5 students were awarded PhDs. And another 6 students are pursuing PhD. Sir has written 4 books and Sir has authorized 4 books, authored as Sir has worked as an author for 4 books and 35 articles. He has many publications in many research publications in various national and international journals. Sir has also attended various national and international conferences. Sir has also organized various national seminars as the director national seminar held on 2nd and 3rd of March 2012 on social movements in India issues and challenges, which was organized by the Department of Political Science, sponsored by UGC and ISSR, New Delhi. So I once again thank Director Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Study Center for giving me the opportunity of introducing Veeranna Garu. May I now request Professor Veeranna Garu to further deliver his valuable speech on this occasion.
Okay, thank you very much, Ramya Garu. First of all, I congratulate Dr. Samaya Garu, Department of Pharmacy and Director for Ambedkar Study Center. He has organized after assuming the charge as the Director Ambedkar Study Center. So, several occasions he has launched the awareness programs to the SC, ST, BC, minority, and other needy people. And yesterday onwards, he has launched another awareness program as like the socio-religious institutions in India and the weaker sections in India. Socio-religious institutions and weaker sections in India. Pule Ambedkar perspective. So in this regard, clearly he has planned to give certain topics and awareness program to the research scholars, participants, and other active youngsters. What to be done in the future by taking the ideal and ideology of the Ambedkar Pule thoughts. First of all, it's a very good occasion that most of the weaker sections, especially SC/STs, how they are suffering, even though after independence. Before that, Mahatma Phule has given a quote that without education, education is the only way to give wider perspective of thought and to avoid the particles. So without education, it is not possible. So he has given more important for the education. And then later on period, Baba Sahib Ambedkar also given most important and given encourage to the weaker section to go for education. And as a constitution maker, he has given several provisions to outcome and the upliftment of the weaker sections and especially after independence of 70 years we are celebrating, and then the situation పరిస్థితి is a very normal range. విద్యార్థులు చాలా మంది రీసెర్చ్ స్కాలర్స్ తెలుసుకోవాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఏంటంటే సమ్మయ్య కుమార్, డాక్టర్ రాజు, మిస్టర్ నరేష్ అండ్ డాక్టర్ కొమ్రయ్య and others are cooperating and actively taking part in that. And సమ్మయ్య గారు చేసే కార్యక్రమాల్లో ఎక్కువగా వీకర్ సెక్షన్ చైతన్యపరచడానికి కావాల్సినటువంటి పందాలు ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఆ అంశాలను తీసుకొని శ్రమతో కూడుకున్నటువంటి పని. శ్రమ మీన్స్ దట్ గెటింగ్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఇస్ అ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్ టాస్క్. వాళ్ళ అపాయింట్మెంట్ తీసుకోవాలి, వాళ్ళ టైంని కేటాయించాలి. ఇట్లా తీసుకొని పార్టిసిపెంట్స్కి అవేర్నెస్ కల్పించే కార్యక్రమం ఏదైతే ఉందో అది అవసరమని భావించి ముందుకు రావడం నిజంగా అభినందనీయం. అంబేద్కర్ స్టడీ సెంటర్ స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పటి నుంచి ఫండ్స్ మాత్రం ఏం లేవు. మాకు తెలిసి యూజీసీ ఫండ్స్ ఇదివరకు ఇచ్చేది, కానీ గత కొంతకాలంగా ఫండ్స్ మాత్రం ఏం రిలీజ్ చేయటం లేదు. అయినప్పటికీ ఎంతో ఆర్థికంగా ఓర్చుకొని ఒక కార్యక్రమం బాబాసాహెబ్ అంబేద్కర్ యొక్క ఫిలాసఫీ, పూలే ఇలాంటి ఒక థాట్స్ని జనంలో తీసుకెళ్ళాలి అనే దృక్పథంతో చేస్తున్నటువంటి పని నిజంగా అభినందనీయం. అంతకుముందు డైరెక్టర్స్గా చేసిన దానికి ఏమాత్రం తగ్గకుండా వారు చేయడం నిజంగా ఈ సందర్భంగా వారిని ప్రత్యేకంగా అభినందిస్తున్నాను. ముఖ్యంగా మనం తెలుసుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటి అని చెప్పినటువంటి సోషియో రిలీజియస్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అండ్ వీకర్ సెక్షన్ ఇన్ ఇండియా, ఆ బ్రాడర్ కాన్సెప్ట్లో తీసుకున్నటువంటి పూలే అంబేద్కర్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్లో ఎలా ఉంది భవిష్యత్తులో అంటే భారతదేశంలో మీకు అందరికి తెలిసినటువంటి విషయమే కులాలు, మతాలు ఇవన్నీ అసమానంతో కూడుకున్నటువంటి కుల సమాజంతో కూడుకున్నటువంటి సమాజంలో మా హక్కుల పరిరక్షణ, సమాన న్యాయం, ఇవన్నీ సామాజిక న్యాయం పొందాలి అంటే ఏం చేయాలి అన్నప్పుడు తప్పకుండా మనకు ముందు తరాలుగా కృషి చేసినటువంటి మనము స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చిన తర్వాత, రాజ్యాంగం అమలులోకి వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఫండమెంటల్స్ అన్ని ఫండమెంటల్ రైట్స్ అన్ని కూడా రాజ్యాంగపరంగా అంటే అందుబాటులో ఉన్న తర్వాత జరిగే పోరాటంలో కూడా మనం ఇప్పటికీ చాలా వెనుకబడి ఉన్నాం. కానీ రాజ్యాంగం లేని కాలంలో, బ్రిటిష్ వారి పరిపాలన కాలంలో మరి వలసవాద నియంతృత్వాన్ని కంటిన్యూ చేస్తూనే ఆ కాలంలో జనాన్ని సమీకరించి అవేర్నెస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేయడం నిజంగా మహాత్మా జ్యోతిరావు పూలే వారి సతీమణి సావిత్రిబాయి పూలే చేసినటువంటి కృషి అంత ఇంత కాదు. ఒక 5-10 నిమిషాలు చెప్తే సరిపోయేంత కాదు. మరి అంత గొప్పగా కృషి చేసినటువంటి కంప్లీట్గా త్యాగమూర్తులు. ఎట్లాంటి త్యాగమూర్తులు అంటే ఈ సమాజ ఉద్ధరణ కొరకు, సమాజ వెనుకబాటుతనానికి, సమాజంలో ఉన్నటువంటి పావర్టీకి ఇది ఎంత ఎందుకు వస్తుంది, బానిసత్వం ఎందుకు వస్తుంది, పేదరికం ఎందుకు వస్తుంది, వీటి నుంచి అధిగమించి బయటికి సమాజంలో వీకర్ సెక్షన్స్ ఎట్లా పైకి వస్తారు, ఆ దృక్పథంలో ఆ కోణంలో ఆలోచించి అనేక హక్కుల రక్షణ కోసం పోరాటం చేయడం జరిగింది. ముఖ్యంగా విద్యా వైద్యం అనేది ప్రధాన అంశంగా తీసుకున్నటువంటి మహాత్మా జ్యోతిరావు పూలే మరి ఎట్లా జనంలో తీసుకుపోవాలని అనుకున్నప్పుడు బడి కంటే వెళ్ళే పరిస్థితి లేదు, గుడి కంటే వెళ్ళే పరిస్థితి ఎక్కువ ఉంది. కాబట్టి ఎక్కడైతే గుళ్ళు గోపురాలు ఉన్నాయో అట్లాంటి ప్రాంతాల్లో సమీపంలో బడులను స్టార్ట్ చేసి చదువు చెప్పించడానికి సాహసించడం, అతను చేసినటువంటి కృషితో అప్పుడప్పుడే ఇంత నిర్బంధకాండ ఉన్నప్పటికీ స్వేచ్ఛా సమానత్వానికి ఏమాత్రం రక్షణ లేని కాలంలో కృషి చేసినటువంటి మహనీయులు మహాత్మా జ్యోతిరావు పూలే. మరి తర్వాత తరంలో మనకు బాబాసాహెబ్ అంబేద్కర్ అదే కోణంలో ఆ దృక్పథంతో ముందుకు వెళ్తూ అసలు ఈ అసమానతలకు గల కారణం ఏమిటి, ఈ మొత్తానికి అంటరానితనానికి గల కారణం ఏంటి, అసలు ఎక్కడ మొదలైంది అని అన్నప్పుడు చాలా సుదీర్ఘంగా డిస్కషన్ చేసి కుల సమాజం, కుల నిర్మూలన ఎలా జరుగుతుంది అని చెప్పి చర్చ చేయడం, రచనలు చేయడం, జనంలో తీవ్రమైనటువంటి అంటే చైతన్యపరచడానికి కావాల్సినటువంటి పండాన్ని ఎన్నుకోవడం, ప్రపంచంలో గొప్ప మేధావిగా పేరు తెచ్చుకొని నిరంతరం తన జీవితాన్ని చదువుకు, విజ్ఞానం అంటే పూలే మహాత్మా జ్యోతిరావు పూలే ఏదైతే ఆశించడం జరిగిందో విద్య ద్వారానే, విద్య సర్వరోగ నివారణి అన్నట్టు, విద్య ద్వారానే మొత్తము సమాజాన్ని అధిగమించేట్టు, ఈ సమాజంలో ఎదురయ్యేటువంటి సమస్యలను అధిగమించడానికి కావాల్సినటువంటి ఎత్తుగడలన్నీ కూడా విద్యావంతుడు మాత్రమే చేయగలుగుతాడు. అట్లాంటి విజ్ఞానాన్ని సొంతం చేసుకుంటే ఇంకా ప్రపంచం అనేది ఏదైనా చేయొచ్చు అని చెప్పి సూచన మేరకు బాబాసాహెబ్ అంబేద్కర్ దాన్ని అంటే చాలా అవకాశంగా తీసుకొని, అతన్ని మార్గదర్శకంగా తీసుకొని విజ్ఞానవంతుడు అయిన తర్వాత చేసినటువంటి గొప్పతనము ఈరోజు ప్రపంచంలో అనేక రాజ్యాంగాలు సంక్షోభాన్ని ఎదుర్కొన్నాయి. బాబాసాహెబ్ అంబేద్కర్ అంత గొప్ప మేధావిగా మరి రాజ్యాంగ రచన చేసినటువంటి రాజ్యాంగం ఈనాడు అనేక సంక్షోభాలు వచ్చినప్పటికీ భారత రాజ్యాంగంలో వాటికి కావాల్సినటువంటి సవరణలను చేసుకుంటూ ఒక చక్కటి రాజ్యాంగాన్ని, ఇంత 135 కోట్ల జనాభా ఉన్నా కానీ, అంటే 1950లో ఉన్నటువంటి పరిస్థితులకి ఈరోజు 2021లో ఉన్నటువంటి పరిస్థితులకు బేరీజ్ వేసుకుంటే అనేక మార్పులు చోటు చేసుకున్నాయి. సాంకేతిక పరంగా, విజ్ఞాన పరంగా చాలా చోటు చేసుకున్నాయి. అయినప్పటికీ అన్ని కాలాల్లో పనికి వచ్చేటువంటి రాజ్యాంగాన్ని మనకు రచించి ఇవ్వడం అనేది బాబాసాహెబ్ అంబేద్కర్కి ఈ భారత సమాజమే కాదు, ఎప్పుడు కూడా భారతదేశ సమాజంలో ఉన్నటువంటి కోటాను కోట్ల జనాభా ఎప్పుడు కూడా సర్వాంతరంగా వారికి శాస్త్రాంగ నమస్కారాలు ఏ రకంగా చెప్పినా దాని నేను తీరదు, అంత కృతజ్ఞతలు ఉండాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది. ఓకే, మరి పూలే అంబేద్కర్ అందించినటువంటి మార్గదర్శకాలు ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఇప్పుడు ఏం వాట్ ఈస్ నెక్స్ట్, వాట్ ఈస్ అవర్ రోల్, మన అప్పటికి ఇప్పటికి 71 yearsలో ఉన్న డెవలప్మెంట్ చాలా అభివృద్ధిలోనికి ఉంది. సాంకేతిక పరంగా అన్ని రంగాల్లో అభివృద్ధిలోనికి వచ్చారు. ఎస్సీల పరిస్థితులు కూడా అభివృద్ధిలోనికి వచ్చాయి. ఆయన మరి నిత్యం మనం న్యూస్ పేపర్లో కానీ మీడియాలో కానీ చూస్తున్నది ఏంటిది, అత్యాచారాలు, అవమానాలు, ఆత్మహత్యలన్నీ కూడా ఏ వర్గాలకు జరుగుతున్నాయి? ఇదే పేదరికమైనటువంటి ఎస్సీ ఎస్టీ వర్గాలకి ఎక్కువగా జరుగుతున్నాయి. దానికి మూలం ఏంటిది? మరి మనము మన కమ్యూనిటీస్ నుంచి వచ్చినటువంటి ఈ వీకర్ సెక్షన్ కమ్యూనిటీస్ నుంచి వచ్చినటువంటి మరి ఎస్సీ ఎస్టీ బీసీ మైనారిటీ అంతా కూడా పూలే అంబేద్కర్ పరిస్థితిలో ఆలోచన దృక్పథాన్ని సమాజంలోకి తీసుకెళ్ళి చేయాల్సినటువంటి కార్యక్రమాలు అంటే ముక్కుబడిగా ఒకటి రెండు కార్యక్రమాలు కాకుండా అసలు ఒక కార్యాచరణ నిత్యం ఉండాలి. జనంలో నిత్యం సమస్యలు ఉంటాయి. సమస్యలను అధిగమించడానికి కావాల్సినటువంటి సలహా సూచనలు ఈ పేదరిక నిర్మూలన కొరకు జరుగుతున్నటువంటి అటు ప్రభుత్వ చేదోడు వాదోడుతో పాటు ప్రజా సంఘాలుగా మన ఈ వీకర్ సెక్షన్ నుంచి వచ్చినటువంటి మేధావులుగా అందరం కూడా సమాజంలో చైతన్యపరుస్తూ వాటిని అభివృద్ధిలోకి తీసుకొస్తే తప్ప మరి ఇట్లాంటివి జరగవు. అనేది జరగడానికి అనేక కారణాలు ఉన్నప్పటికీ కొంత అరికట్టవచ్చు. మరి అన్యాయాలు, అవమానాలు, ఆత్మహత్యలను తగ్గించడానికి మరి ఈ పరిస్థితుల్లో మనం అంతా ఆలోచన చేయాలి. ఎప్పుడైతే గ్రామాల్లో యువజన సంఘాలు ఉన్నాయి, విద్యావంతులు ఉన్నారు, మరి ఆ కమ్యూనిటీ ఫండమెంటల్ రైట్స్తో పాటు ఫండమెంటల్ డ్యూటీస్ని కూడా దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని మరి చేయగలిగితే తప్పకుండా రాజ్యాంగ ఫలాలు అన్ని వర్గాలకు అందే విధంగా చేయవచ్చు. లేదా మరి మేధావి ఉన్నటువంటి కొద్ది వర్గాలు మాత్రమే స్వప్రయోజనాలకు మరి వాటికి కాకుండా మిగతా సమాజాన్ని కూడా అందిపుచ్చుకునే విధంగా చేదోడు వాదోడుగా మిగతా కమ్యూనిటీకి సహకారం అందించాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉందని తెలియజేస్తూ మరి చీఫ్ గెస్ట్ keynote speaker is waiting to deliver his lecture. మరి నాకు ఈ అవకాశం జస్ట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు బ్రీఫ్ వాట్ టు బి డన్ ఫర్ అవర్ స్పీకర్స్ జనరేషన్ అని చెప్పడానికి నేను ప్రయత్నం చేశాను. మరి మిత్రులు వింటున్నటువంటి యువకులు, మేధావులు, విద్యావంతులు, పెద్దవాళ్ళు అందరూ కూడా మరి నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్లో మనం కంటిన్యూ చేయాలి. ఇది ఒక యూనివర్సిటీలో కాకుండా మారుమూల పల్లెల్లో కూడా చైతన్యవంతులు చేయాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది. అట్లా చేయగలిగినప్పుడు మాత్రమే మన సమాజంలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఈ బానిస సంఖ్యల నుంచి, ఈ వీకర్ సెక్షన్ నుంచి మరి బయటికి రాగలుగుతాం. దానికి ఒకటే ఒక ఆయుధము విద్య, 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 విద్య తప్ప ఇంకేది కాదు. దట్స్ వై ద ఎడ్యుకేషన్ విల్ గివ్ ఆల్ రౌండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్. ఓన్లీ ఎక్కడైతే అంటే పరిపూర్ణుడు వ్యక్తి కావాలంటే పరిపూర్ణమైనటువంటి అవకాశాలను అందిపుచ్చుకోవాలి. కాబట్టి విద్య ద్వారానే అన్ని సాధించగలుగుతామని చెప్తూ ఇంతకుముందు బయోడేటా చదివినటువంటి రమ్య చెప్పింది. జస్ట్ అంటే దాదాపు ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి 40 ఏళ్ళు ఉద్యోగం చేశాను. అంటే నేను చదువుకోవాలి అంటే కనీసం ఇంకా 15 ఏళ్ళు రెగ్యులర్ చదివితే తప్ప ఈ స్థాయి విద్యా అవకాశాలను చదువుకునే అవకాశం లేకుండా, కానీ మరి సర్వీస్లో చాలా తక్కువ వయసులో సర్వీస్లో చేరి మిగతా డిస్టెన్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ద్వారా క్రమంగా అన్ని ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పెంచుకొని ఈరోజు టచ్ చేశాం. కాబట్టి నన్ను అనుసరించే వాళ్ళైనా, నేను చెప్పగలిగేటువంటి మా విద్యార్థులకైనా అది ఒక పూర్తిగా తీసుకొని, ఒక ఛాలెంజ్గా తీసుకొని, లైఫ్లో ఛాలెంజ్ అంటే చదువు మాత్రమే. చదువును ఛాలెంజ్గా గ్రహించగలిగినప్పుడు ప్రపంచ విజ్ఞానం ఇవాళ స్మార్ట్ ఫోన్ ద్వారా మొత్తం క్షణాల్లో విద్యా అవగాహన కల్పించేటువంటి అనేక రంగాల మనకు అవగాహన జ్ఞానం స్మార్ట్ ఫోన్లో ఉంది. దాన్ని అందిపుచ్చుకోవాలి. దాంట్లో మంచిగా ఉన్నటువంటి గ్రహించి మన చుట్టూ ఉన్నటువంటి బానిస సంఖ్యల నుంచి తెలుసుకొని మన సమాజానికి మేలు చేకూర్చే విధంగా అంతాను అనుసరించినప్పుడు మాత్రమే భవిష్యత్తులో మన వర్గాలకు వీకర్ సెక్షన్ నుంచి వాటిని కాపాడగలుగుతామని తెలియజేస్తూ నాకు ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చినటువంటి డాక్టర్ సమ్య గారికి మరొకసారి నేను తెలియజేస్తూ సెలవు తీసుకున్నాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ ఫర్ గివింగ్ దిస్.
Thank you, Professor Veeranna Garu. We express our sincere thanks to Professor G. Veeranna Garu for giving valuable message on this occasion. Thank you, sir. Now I request T. Sri Ramya Garu to introduce today's keynote speaker, Professor Kakatiya Garu, Usmania University, Hyderabad.
I once again thank the director, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Studies Center, for giving me this great opportunity of introducing Professor Kakatiya Garu. Professor Kanche Ailaya Garu was born on 5th October 1952 in the village of Papayapet, Warangal district. He is an Indian political theorist, prolific writer, and a Dalit rights activist. He himself refers symbolically as Kanche Ailaya Shepherd. Ailaya Garu credited his mother Kancha Kattamma Garu as pivotal in shaping his political thought. He was inspired by his own mother as she was at the forefront of the shepherd's struggle against the forest guard's discriminatory behavior. Ailaya Garu has an MA degree in political science from Usmania University, and MPhil degree was awarded for his study on land reform in the South Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. He was awarded with PhD degree for his work entitled Political Thought of Gautama Buddha. Later, it was published in the form of book entitled God as Political Philosopher, Buddha's Challenge to Brahmanism. He has many honors. He has bagged many awards like Mahatma Jyotirao Phule Award, Nehru Fellow for the year 1994 to 1997, and Manyavar Kanshiram Smriti Mahanayak Puraskar. He also bagged Lisa Award for his magnum opus, Why I Am Not a Hindu. Sir has retired from his teaching job in Usmania University after 38 years of study, research, and teaching in the year 2012. Currently, he is serving as director for the Center for Social Exclusion and Inclusive Policy at Maulana Azad National Urdu University in Hyderabad. Sir has also held various administrative appointments, few of which are Retired Director, Center for Study of Social Exclusion and Inclusive Policy at Maulana Azad National Urdu University, former Head of Department, Political Science, Usmania University, Hyderabad. Sir has also worked as member of National Research Committee constituted by the Ministry of Social Justice, New Delhi. He was also a member, Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. He was also a former member of the National Book Trust, Ministry of Human Resources Development, Government of India, and New Delhi for 3 years. He was also a member of the Planning Commission subcommittee to formulate an agenda for land reforms for the 11th five-year plan. He was also a member of the UGC Constitutional Committee to oversee the implementation of OBC reservations in all central and state universities in India. Sir was also a former member of the Executive Council of Periyar Maniamma University, Tamil Nadu. Few of Sir's publications are English language publications, Why I Am Not a Hindu, a Sudra critique of Hindutva policy, culture, and political economy. God as Political Philosopher, Buddha's Challenge to Brahmanism. Buffalo Nationalism, a critique of spiritual fascism. Turning the pot, tilling the land, dignity of labor in our times. Post-Hindu India, a disclosure in Dalit Bahujan socio-spiritual and scientific revolution. Untouchable God, a novel on caste and race. And the Telugu publications are Manatattvam, Dalita Bahujana Tatvikata. Thank you, sir. And I thank Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Studies Center for giving me this opportunity of introducing Professor Kanche Ailaya Garu. May I now request Kanche Ailaya Garu to take over the session and deliver his valuable words. Thank you, sir.
Hello. So, is it clear now?
Clear, audible, sir.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Okay, sir.
Somebody asked that Abdus Sabir to lock his video.
Samir.
There's something coming there, and then. So I'm there. Is it now? Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir. Pardon?
Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Can you?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay, sir.
My video is there?
Yes, sir. Proceed, sir.
No, video unda. Video kanpadtunda?
Kanapadtundi, sir. Proceed, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for this online conference in the context of Mahatma Phule Ambedkar Jayantis on 11th and 14th. Samaya has been organizing some of these programs quite consistently. Now, this year it is a very bad year because of Corona, which is expanding and trying to disturb every institutional base. Now, when you want to understand the socio-spiritual institutions from the point of view of today, that is 2021, as Mahatma Phule and Ambedkar encountered them in their own respective terms, there is a need to do a lot of new research. What is the present condition? What is going to happen to India in future? What is happening in the employment sector, in educational sector, and the overall national situation. Can you see this book? Because I can't see my photo.
Visible, sir.
Is it visible now?
Visible, sir.
Yeah, this is a new book of mine.
Visible, sir.
Yeah, called, this is part of Rethinking India series, The Shudras, Vision for a New Path, published by Penguin. I request all of those who are participating in this to buy a copy on Amazon. It is a bestseller on Amazon from the day one. It was just launched on 22nd February of this year. Now, why did me and about 10 others, young scholars studying in different central universities, and all of them are from Shudra OBCs. Why did we write this book? With a title, Shudras. Most of you in the academic institutions do not find this concept Shudras in any syllabus. So there was a book written by Dr. Ambedkar in 1946. Who were the Shudras and why they came to be so, and what were their situation in the Brahmin texts, namely Rigveda and rest of the three Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Manu, Dharma Shastra, and so on. So he examined basically the Shudra's position. Taking the clue from Phule, I did work on this book on the Shudras from the village downwards at the national level. What is their situation? And this book is dedicated to the great Phules, Mahatma Jyotirao and Savitribai, who initiated Shudra revolutionary movement of read, write and fight for the first time in Indian history. So there is this famous slogan of Ambedkar: educate, agitate and organize. Whereas we have formulated a slogan based on Mahatma Phule and Ambedkar, Savitribai Phule's first education of the Shudras. And all of you must know that before 1840, when Phule entered a missionary school, there was no Shudra in India who got educated in a school. Now, when we are talking about Shudras, who are they? So what we did in this book is, we have divided Indian society into 4 categories, leaving the minorities aside. The Muslims, the Christians, and the Sikhs, we didn't touch upon them. If you leave them, India has 4 categories. The largest category is Shudra. This category includes, from let us take Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Kammas, Reddys, Velamas, Kapus, down to the Chakalis, Mangalis, and in between hundreds of castes. And in North India, you have Jats, Gujars, Yadavs, Patels, Marathas. In Bengal, you have similar castes, which is equivalent to our Reddys, called Mahishya, but they have no power at all, like Reddys and Kammas. Here at least they have regional parties. Or in Karnataka, you have Lingayat, Vakalingayat, down to the same category. Tamil Nadu, you have Nayakas, Madaliyas, Gaundas, and down to all other categories. So this population constitutes 52%. This is according to Mandal Commission report. The Mandal Commission report rounded off that statistic based on 1931 census. So all Shudras constitute 52%. Now, above Shudras, there are 5 castes in India. Normally, in Indian sociology, political science, even economics, anthropology, they don't study caste system the way we studied here. Above Shudras, you have 5 castes: Brahmin, Baniyas, Kayasthas, Khatris, and Kshatriyas. Now, 5 of them are spread in different states. Roughly, we estimated in this book, they constitute just about 7 to 8% of the population. Now, below Shudras, you have Dalits. The constitutional category is scheduled castes, but we used the Dalit category quite consistently. And then besides Dalit, you have 7.5% tribals. Now, when Pule went to school, there were no Shudras, including the Marathas of his time, because Pule comes from more or less, our Kapu kind of community. In North India, for example, there is a community called Kurmis. They are not Kurma of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, but there is a Kurmi caste which is equivalent to our Kapu. Munur Kapu here and Kapu in Andhra Pradesh. Now, Pule comes from a caste called Kumbi, which has a subdivision called Malis, which is exactly like our Mudarajas in Telangana. They were selling flowers, they were plucking fruits, they were, some of them may be fishing in the ponds like our Mudarajas do here. So it was, in caste terms, it was equivalent to Maratha. Here, equivalent to Andhra Kapus who are not in reservation. So Pule's caste today in Maharashtra is also not in reservation. But now they are fighting, they are part of the Maratha fight. Now, one of the major, which is a major international publication, with their own commissioning to me that I should work on a book. They thought mainly on OBCs. I said, no, OBC is a smaller category, but I will work on the whole Shudra community, which is the basic ideological domain of Mahatma Phule. Now, the Shudras at the Phule time were not supposed to go to school. And what were the kinds of schools at that time? There were Sanskrit schools for the Brahmin priests, and also some of them were teachers for their own students. The Brahmins were never teaching to Shudras in those days. But there were also schools established by the Muslim rulers in Persian language. And Shudras were never educated in Persian language also. Then along with Persian language, there also came into existence a parallel language in the Persian script itself called Urdu. Telangana is known for Urdu. And now North India, Urdu is an international language now. Pakistan has Urdu, even Bangladesh has Urdu. And you don't find many Shudras educated in Urdu at high-end levels. Few of them in Telangana region studied in Urdu, but they never became scholars in Urdu language. Then there was English. Now this is a critical area we looked at. English started in India in 1817. by a Christian missionary who was a shoemaker in England and turned to mission work and came to Bengal in a ship which was very stealthily brought him, because the British East India Company was not allowing missionaries to come to India. Then he came and started a school. He met Raja Ram Mohan Roy in his work, and he taught Raja Ram Mohan Roy English. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was the first English self-learned person. Then he, later on, they said that he is father of Indian Renaissance, blah, blah, blah. And he later on, of course, studied English, and then the first English medium school for Brahmin children was also started in Calcutta, where the Presidency College is there now, in 1817. Now, from 1817 to 1853, English was being taught, and during that time, apart from the British official children who were here, very few of them, otherwise their children were being brought up in England. But the remaining people who were learning English were four castes: Brahmins, Banyas, Kayasthas, and Khatris. Kshatriyas were also not learning much English because they were happy with their doll and knife, and then whatever little war and their estates and so on and so forth. Now, from 1817 to 1853, now 1853, English became official ruling language in India. Persian was removed. Mahatma Phule went to English medium school in 1841, if I am not wrong. Now, he was the first Shudra person. And then he married to Savitribai, who was illiterate, 9-year-old girl, never had the family life with her. Instead, against his father and mother wishes and a lot of Brahmins. You must also know that Phule was contemporary of Tilak. And Tilak was a very strong Brahmin. So when they came to know that here is a boy who was teaching his wife in the bedroom rather than having a family relation, sexual relationship with her. So the whole Pune Brahmins went and threatened his father. What is this? Then his own school education got stopped at grade 7th, because that was the final. But he could easily take up a teacher job with that qualification. So the entire Brahmins were against he teaching his wife. And then later on, he goes to attend a Brahmin classmate's marriage. And there he was attacked. How could a Shudra? Because don't forget, in those days, the Brahmins in particularly Maharashtra, because it was a Peshwa ruling state, they were treating Shudras also as untouchables. So they attacked him, and then he developed his. So the question is, by the time our main national leaders went to England to study in English, what was the position of Shudras, including the Kamma, Reddy, Kapu, Gujar, Patel. Today, what in these areas we call rulers and so on and so forth. None of these people sent their sons, leave alone daughters, to England. Gandhi went to England. Gopal Krishna Gokhale went and studied in England. Ranade went and studied in England. Nehru went. The only Shudra who went to England to study along with them was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He did law there. But somehow there were about 320 princely states in India. No, 550 princely states were there, but about 320 were Shudra princely states. Now, one problem of today's India is not a single king sent his son or daughter to England to study in English. They obeyed the Brahmin dictum. They said Shudras should not study. So you just rule the state. But every Shudra ruler had a Brahmin prime minister and a Brahmin head priest in the state. So without the priest's permission, they were not supposed to go sent to school. So all Shudra kings, landlords, were more scared of the Brahmin priest than even the enemies. Because the Brahmin priest, they thought, would give a shapam. Shapam and pani aipotundi. Now, what is the nature of our mind? Samaya, are there people from outside state? Hello?
Or 70% participants from different states and different countries.
Okay. So if you want to understand what is the mass psychology of education, by 1960, when I went to school, you must read my autobiography called From a Shepherd Boy to an Intellectual. In that, I narrated a story. Mine is a very remote village in the old forest area of Pakal, Mahbub Reddy, Zamindari region. So when a single teacher was appointed in my village, by then I and my brother, we were going with sheep and goat, and we have some buffaloes and also some cattle because we had agriculture also. We were shepherds, but we had some land and tilling agriculture was there. So this single teacher wanted children in his new school, and I could be around 9 years by then. My brother could be around 11 years. So this teacher came and asked my mother, early morning, he came, she was sprinkling cow dung water in the courtyard. Then for the first time, she saw a man in a pant and shirt and very neatly dressed and in slippers. So she made him to sit on a cot. She almost ran and then did that. Then he asked her, why don't you send your sons to schools? I heard you have 2 sons. You know what my mother said? I told this story. It is reproduced in many, many websites, including the famous magazine called Caravan. My mother said, Aya, we are Shudras. If we send our children to school, Devil Saraswati will kill them. And the teacher was surprised. What are you saying? Saraswati is goddess of education. Because he came from Warangal, which is a town. Later I learned he came from a Padmashali weaver community, but somewhat exposed to the Hindu rituals and practices. No, so goddess Saraswati is educational goddess and so on. She said, no, she will educate Brahmins and Banyas, but kill the Shudra children. So we can't send, we won't send our children. Then he asked, why are you saying this? Meanwhile, my grandmother also came in, having heard the discussion. She was dead scared of children going to school, and because my elder brother went to a private teacher after he learned the learning of alphabets, he died. So they were dead scared of this Saraswati killing children if they go to school. So the teacher explained, no, this is Saraswati's goddess. My mother was insisting, no, she won't allow our children to learn. Now, this was a common Shudra opinion. Where did it come from? Because for 3,000 years, ever since the first book was written on this land called India, Rigveda, Shudras were not supposed to learn. And they said Saraswati is goddess of education. For whom? What my mother understood was an absolutely working woman, shepherd woman, common sense. That in the village, no Shudra was going to school. And they only heard that only Brahmins can go to school and Banyas can go to school, because Banya has to write in the Shah, Brahmin has to read mantras. Now, this story of my mother explains the Shudra educational status. Now, was it not true of the Kammas, Reddys? It was true of all of them. They were also not going to school till Mahatma Phule went, and later here and there. In 2 Telugu states, the first highly English educated man was Kattamanchi Ramalingareddy. He became the Vice Chancellor of Andhra University, the first Vice Chancellor of Andhra University. So the issue today is, Ambedkar said the Shudras were made slaves, though they were Kshatriyas in the Vedic period. Now we have come to a conclusion in this book. Somehow Ambedkar was not right in this, because in Rigveda itself, there were 4 categories. The Brahmin, born from the head of the Brahma, Kshatriya, shoulder, Vaishyas from thighs, and Shudras from feet. So there was no way the Shudras remaining or operating as Kshatriya at any time. Now, what were the Shudras? Shudras were slaves. From writing of Rigveda to Mahatma Phule coming into field, Shudras were slaves. And that is where what he realized, that the Shudras are gulams. Therefore, he wrote, a lot of things are said that, Shudras have written this, that, Molla has written Molla Ramayana, this. Yeah, all those books, if some Shudra, by misleading the Brahmin or the rulers, wrote a book, they wrote nothing about the Shudra life. The first and only book which was written on the Shudra and Ati Shudras, that is untouchable. That is, their life in the whole Indian history is that of Mahatma Phule, Gulamgiri. And I don't know how many of participants in this read that book or saw the book, because generally Indian academicians, quite unfortunately, we don't read books. Now, generally Indians themselves don't read books. If teachers don't read books, now you can say, how are you saying this? What is your evidence? Do you know, in India, if a Telugu book is published, reasonably good book, the first print run will be only 1,000 copies. For a population of about 11 crore people, and in that, at least literate and educated, easily about 4 to 5 crore, only 1,000 books. In English, the bestsellers book, my book, Why I'm Not a Hindu, is a bestseller. It was published in 1996. It is most popular in many countries. I don't think many university teachers read it. And how many of us buy books? So if college teachers buy at least the most important known books, easily a book should sell 5 to 10 lakh copies easily. I mean, conscious people if they buy. But no, this is a bestseller book. The data, the Penguin Company told me, within a month, online only bestseller, because now shops are not selling. It sold 2,500 copies online within a month. It's a bestseller. So that means, and most of them must have been foreigners and so on and so forth. So we don't read books. That's the reason why we use that quotation, read, write, and fight. What was the Shudra problem? Tilling the land, looking after the cattle, carpenting, pot making. Women, apart from housework, seedling, harvesting, the whole of production was done by Shudras, Dalits, and Adivasis in their own domains, very small local agrarian domain. Now, if this 52% population and those of, Kakatiya University is a very important unit for me because it is located in university. I did my BA in Warangal Arts College. Now, if rural people don't read books seriously, the kind of books that Phule, Ambedkar, and now some of our contemporary writers are doing, urban people don't understand these books. Because when you write a book on production, urban children cannot understand. So that is the reason why the 52% of Shudras if they do not produce thinkers who can write high-end philosophical books, then the question of Dalit liberation is not possible. I've been telling this my all Dalit friends across the country.
मी पण टाकलं अगोदर शिल्पर सर 20 रुपयाची हिरवी.
The Dalits are facing atrocities physically from the Shudra OBCs. But ideologically, the ideology comes from Brahminism. Physically, these are the people. Now, unless there are philosophers among Shudras, even including Reddis, Kammas, Marathas, Gujar, Jat, Patel, whatever, as of now, there are no Shudra philosophers of Pule's stature in India now. Not even Ambedkar. Ambedkar is a much bigger philosopher. So, you know, when I was writing my autobiography, I was looking at how many Shudras wrote autobiographies, not just OBCs. See, among Shudras, there are two categories. Reserved Shudras, what we call, for example, Kamma, Reddy, Kapu, they're outside reservation. Velamas, Jats, Gujars, Patel, outside. But they are Shudras. They don't have Jane. They can't become priests in Hindu temple. So they are defined as Hindus. And they can't read Vedas in Gurukulas. So these are all, some of them are chief ministers, some of them are central minister, very few of them, or some of them may be governors. But there are no philosophers. So I looked at the autobiographies. See, autobiography is a very important tool. When you write autobiography, you write about your family history, which is problematic. You know, many controversial things, many things that you don't like to tell others, all kinds of things. But freedom struggle period, number of leaders wrote autobiographies. Who were they? When I looked at, Gandhi wrote autobiography when he was 49, just 50. Nehru wrote autobiography when he was 39. Sardar Patel never wrote his autobiography. Phule did not write his autobiography. Ambedkar did not write his autobiography. Periyar did not write his autobiography. Narayan Guru did not write his autobiography. Why? Leave alone in English. Definitely Sardar Patel could have written in English because he was a lawyer, studied in the same England. But there was an inferior complex. Can we write autobiography? What should we write in our autobiography? After all, our parents are farmers. Our parents are pot makers. Our parents are shoemakers. Not Dalit, many Dalits wrote autobiography. Recently now they are coming. So when I wrote my autobiography and it was released in 2019, that was the first Shudra autobiography, Shepherd. So what is being told here is, unless the Shudras who are regional leaders, now you know Delhi, in this book, there is a chapter on caste and political economy. We have looked at who is controlling Indian industry. The entire Shudras control only 3.8% of top Indian industry. 3.8. Baniyas control 46% of industry. Brahmins control 44%. And in all central universities, IITs, IIMs, international universities, no Shudras. There may be chief ministers here. Their children may be this and that here. They may be doing some business here and there, but they are not in the top business. They are not in the top intellectual domain. Journalists. English journalism is called national journalism. TV channels, Times of India, Hindu, Hindustan Times, Indian Express, no Shudras. Very few here and there. If you see from Kammareddy Velamas, today you hardly find a single top journalist from these communities. Philosophy, nobody. So what they do is they become a doctor, engineer, or contractor and make some money, remain at the local level, but they have never focused at the nation. So Pule Ambedkar philosophy has to be now expanded. For example, there is one major theoretical hitch I have been encountering, that Ambedkar said that there is no Aryan and Dravidian race issue in India. At that time when he was writing this, again he said in who were the Shudras only. So there is no race problem, we have only caste problem, Varna and caste. But now a lot of research has come, DNA studies have come, racial migration to India is fully established. So it is a definite anthropological, archaeological evidence now that Aryans migrated around 1500 BC. Now, along with this, there is another new study in the last 15 years, but more so, all of you must read a book. It's a very fundamental book for India. It's called The Early Indians by Tony Joseph. Now, this is about the races in India and the castes and the migrations. So based on these studies, in this book, we said that Aryans came in the 1500 BC. So these 5 Dvija communities, those who have Geneve, those who can become temples, priests, those who do business, and those who were Patwaris, Kayasthas, Khatris, and so. For example, P.V. Narasimha Rao comes from a Patwari family. So there are a number of Brahmin sects which are basically Patwari and land record manipulation and management. Like this, there are castes. Now, all these castes are Aryan basically. Now, there is a fundamental research base now. The city of Harappa was one of the most advanced earliest cities in the world. China had no equivalent city when the city of Harappa was built. When was that built? Now the historical evidence says around 3000 BCE. That is 1500 before Aryans came. And see, those from Warangal, you just go around the villages and see the emergence of towns. Without proper agriculture, without proper village system, there cannot be urban system. Many urban areas are extensions of villages for various activities. Now, what we did was a very simple thing. In Harappan city, we looked at the name Harappa. Harappa name does not figure in Vedas, Upanishads. There is a very fine scholar in Usmania sociology called Ram Binaveni Shepherd. He also added name Shepherd. He is an expert in ancient India. He knows Sanskrit, and he wrote a paper on herd immunity based on the shepherds, how they develop herd immunity to sheep. Gorla Kamatallu vachinappudu, how do they save the thing, the heads. So that paper was published by topmost Chinese traditional medicine journal, and it is now WHO website article. And he has got an American fellowship. He will go now. He has written a paper in this. Now, we came to a conclusion that there was a brick in Harappa. There was woodcraft in Harappan city. There were canals. And these canals and bricks, all these things are matching exactly what the brick system that our villagers are making now. The canals that our fields have. The tanks that our villages have. So how did this happen? Where is 3000 years BCE city? Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Dholavira. Then we came to a second conclusion. There is a Ramappa temple in Warangal. Now, what is the relationship between Harappa and Ramappa? Why these names common? Then we found out Harappa is a name of a man at that time who actually supervised, who was like a head of a tribe, a group, and who supervised the building of the city, and the city was named after him. Now, after the Aryan migration and the Etoks, the Harappans migrated across Krishna and Godavari through Maharashtrian base, and quite a lot of them settled in Krishna basin. Therefore, you see a number of Appa names in Karnataka. And Harappa name in Warangal area. So 1500 years before, it were the Shudras who built the Harappan civilization. It were the Shudras who built a civilization that is much better than Egyptian, Chinese civilization. Now this the present pundits want to hide. So now what we concluded in this book is economically, socially, philosophically, spiritually. See, I've been repeatedly saying one thing. Those who are saying that we are all Hindus, religion is a must for people. We can't avoid religion. If the Shudras, let us say Reddy, Kamma, Velama, or Chakali, Mangali, or Padmashali, or Mulla, whatever, if they believe that they are Shudras, if they don't have the right to become the priest in the temple, then you will not have the right to enter into the heaven after death. That is a key link. And priesthood is a philosophical position. So a priest reads a book 10 times, 100 times, several times. So Shudras have not become philosophers, Shudras have not become priests, and therefore the Shudras and Dalits have common relations in the villages. You go to fields, Dalit men and women, OBC men and women, even Shudra men and women, Kapus, some of the Reddys, some of the Velamas, they all work in the fields. They have common experience, common knowledge, technology, but they become each other, treat as untouchables. So our idea is you have to bring in Mahatma Phule and Ambedkar into a clubbing point, and the whole Shudra society has to now enter into philosophical discourse, writing books, writing about villages, philosophy, production, and several other dimensions. So all of you must read what Phule wrote, what Ambedkar wrote, and what now some of us are consistently writing. Why I write? Why I'm not a Hindu book? What is there in that? Or buffalo nationalism. What is the difference between buffalo and cow? See, it is a very simple common sense knowledge. In every village, there are more buffaloes today than cows. And the Harappan city has buffaloes. And we domesticated buffaloes in India much earlier than the world did it. And we sustained them, we survived with the buffalo milk. So if cow is sacred, buffalo should be more sacred. That's what my buffalo nationalism book says. So you have to glorify your village economy, your village culture, their production, their civilization. You read that small book, Turning the Pot, Tilling the Land, Dignity of Labor in Our Times. Lastly, in this Corona time, all of you invariably learn, since you are teachers and scholars, high-end English. If you don't write your PhD thesis in English, then you are gone. See, that is what these people want now. UGC is giving permission to write in regional languages. But the Brahmin, Banya, Kayastha, Khatri children go to Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, or Ashoka University, or OP Jindal, JNU. They come with English knowledge. And we don't have English. This does not work. So that is the reason why you have to start movements for English medium in government schools from LKG to 12th. All regions, north, south. There is a conspiracy here. Dalits, Shudras, Adivasis did not have the right to learn Sanskrit. They were not taught by Muslims. They were not taught by Muslim rulers and scholars Persian. Then they were not taught Urdu. Now we don't know English. So what do we do? So that is the reason why Savitribai, more than Phule, she said, our mother tongue is English. You learn it. She said, leave Marathi. You will not lose anything. So she wrote a series of poems. And on this occasion, since you are organizing, my request to you is, I keep giving a lot of lectures, but lectures we listen and leave them. Unless you read, at least those of you who can buy books, buy and read. There is no point giving lectures to teachers. Unfortunately, more police officers call me and tell, sir, we bought you a book, we are reading. But hardly any professors call me and say that, sir, we bought your, or We bought you a book, this is wrong with it, this is right with, hardly any professors. Now, what are we doing to education? Why police are reading better than the professors? So this is a tragedy. You have to overcome this, all of us, to fight it out. Samaya, thank you very much. I could have gone on, but yesterday I took my second dose of vaccine. I'm a bit tired. Thank you very much. If there are some questions, I'll take.
Question and answers from participants.
Hello,
Please
good
ask
afternoon,
questions.
sir.
Hello, please ask questions.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. This is Sunil Gaikwad from Satara, Maharashtra.
Yeah.
At the outset, I would really thank to you that this is a very crucial lecture by Kancha Yellaya sir, who is internationally appreciated intellectual. And over to Kancha Yellaya sir. I personally very much thankful to you, sir, that bringing to notice our importance of learning English, buying and reading books. This is what the time this is the need of the period that we ought to get touch with in English and have a huge kind of knowledge from English that we ought to gather ourselves. By that only we can have a space, our own space, to battle with the difficulties which are being brought by the so-called regime right now. I think this is what my reflection of your lecture.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, myself, Lakshmi Sadri from Mumbai University.
You asked me. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Very, very innovative things, like I confronted the ideas, and I am so very thankful to you that I never ever gone through the things which you have revealed to us today. As you said that out of 55 princely states, 321 states were OBC. That is quite very surprising to me. And you said that none of these OBC, ruler, they send their children outside for the studies, abroad for the education. It's quite horrendous truth that has come forth. Would you be a little bit elaborate further, elucidate with respect to the same?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, when Ambedkar went to America, the first untouchable boy was going to America, and the Baroda king came to know about this news that a Dalit boy, an Achut boy, is going to America. He gave some money for him to study there. Part of the agreement was that he should come back and serve his administration. So Ambedkar studied in Columbia, did his PhD there in economics, came back in 1917 and went and reported in the Baroda Maharaj kingdom. He was given a job in the military section. He was an officer looking after the civilian roles within the military. Now, with Baroda Maharaj, see what the tragedy of kings were. Shivaji defeated Aurangzeb. But when he became a king, he wanted a Brahmin blessing. He wanted a Brahmin priest to perform a ritual to declare him Kshatriya. Now, why that he wanted, I did not understand. But the Maharashtra Brahmins refused to give him Kshatriya status. Then he brought some Brahmins from Kashi and then took that whole thing. See, the fear of Brahmin was bigger fear than the enemy and the lion and tiger. So they were afraid of Brahmin as if he was a god. So when Ambedkar came back, he joined the administration for 4 days. He lived in a Parsi hotel by reporting wrong caste. The hotel owner asked him to write that I'm a Parsi, but it was later discovered. Then the Parsis wanted to beat him and throw him out. So he requests the king for a house. The Brahmin priest told the king that you can't give a house to an untouchable in Baroda. Because untouchables in Baroda area were outside the town. And Ambedkar refused to go and live in untouchable locality as an officer. Now, what was the fear of Baroda king? The Brahmin priest. Why a Shudra king did not think that he can appoint a Shudra priest and see that Shudra priest performs rituals in the temple? They had no courage. And the same Brahmins told that you cannot study. Kings were also not studying. If you became Kshatriya, little bit of study for your administration. Now, this was the poverty of philosophy. When did the Brahmin took the role of prime ministership with a king? During Maurya kingdom. It was Kautilya who started the practice, and he wrote in his book, Ardhashastra, that every king should have a head priest and a prime minister. So, and then look at Sahu Maharaj. He was very sympathetic, but the Brahmins were not allowing to give anything from him to do for Shudras and Dalits. And then look at Mysore Maharaja. It's a very big kingdom. They were OBCs, but the Brahmin priests and prime ministers were dead against them. So my question is, if you don't have a philosophical spirituality, see, the first man to reject Brahmin authority on God was Mahatma Phule, nobody else. This Bhakti movement, Giti movement, in my view, is absolutely under the control of Brahmin, whether Tukharam or Mirabai or whatever. The first man to say, I don't care you, I'm directly talking to God, that was Phule. And again, it was from Dalits, it was Ambedkar. Then I came and wrote, why I'm not a Hindu, and then I said, I don't care you. See, a lot of my friends, Brahmins, and my teachers, Brahmins, were totally deceptive. They did not want me to write in English. They did not want me to write anything for that matter. I said, hell with you, get lost. So unless you reject, Phule says, unless you reject totally the Brahmin control over God, you can't become a philosopher. Then I came and wrote, why I'm not a Hindu. So that is the problem. All these 320 kings were slaves of Brahmins. And what about Mulayam Singh, Lalu Prasad, the Shudra rulers now? We have a chief minister in Telangana, he's Velama. The moment he sees a Brahmin, he just falls at his feet. President of India, when he comes to Telangana, he touches his feet. If a governor is a Brahmin, he touches his feet. But if a governor is non-Brahmin, he doesn't touch. He doesn't touch Narendra Modi's feet. He doesn't touch Kovind, the president's feet, because he is a Dalit. This is the problem. So we need to completely reject Brahmin authority everywhere. and Shudras, Dalits, Adivasis must work together. Okay, next.
Almost actually have been
Samaya.
after that I'm meeting you again.
Madam, please unmute the mic.
Mute Jay.
So we need to
Please, all of the intellectual, please unmute the participant mic.
Okay, I unmuted.
Please.
See,
Professor Kanja Elia is a very
So, sir, please mute your mobile.
Madam, please unmute the mic. Please, all of the intellectual,
I am requesting all the participants, please mute your phones.
please unmute
Mic, please mute your mic,
the participant mic.
please.
okay, I unmuted.
Professor Kanja Elia is a very
Sir, please continue, sir. Please continue, sir.
No, I have finished answering her. Next question.
Next question. Questions. I am requesting all the participants, please mute your phones. Mic, please mute your mic. Please.
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Please continue, sir.
No, I have finished my answer. If there are no questions, we'll close it, okay? Next question. Can you see, all of you, you just look at this title, The Shudras Vision for a New Thought. You can just go to Google and it is available on Amazon, Flipkart. They're selling for 500 rupees. Buy this book and read to understand the Shudra position now, Dalit position, and what Pule and Ambedkar have done earlier, how to connect it. Okay, thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Professor, one more question. Professor, one more question. I introduce myself, Dr. S.S. Ramajayam from Tamil Nadu state. I am working as a guest faculty, a Department of History, Government Arts College, Dindivanam.
Okay.
I am asking one question.
Yeah.
Related to Professor presentation. Who were the sutras became untouchable? It's a main. No? Hello.
Yeah.
Samaya. Babasaheb Ambedkar to work. Who were the sutras?
Yeah. No, I can't hear you properly. Samaya, there is a problem, you know.
Sir, there is a problem with him, sir.
Yeah, so if
Not
there
here,
are
sir.
no questions, okay, close it.
Any questions from participants? Hello? Hello, any questions from participants?
No question, sir.
That's okay, fine, fine, fine.
No question, sir.
I don't know how to express my gratitude's feelings, but anyway, thanks a lot to Professor Kanchaile
sir.
for delivering a guest lecture
Yes,
on emergency of Jain and Buddhist traditions. This is a really excellent lecture and hopefully informative and knowledgeable session, sir. I hope this information reached to everybody. Being busy with your tight schedule, you have spent your valuable time for sharing much wonderful message with participants. We are grateful to you, sir, for spending your valuable time for this program. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all the
I
best.
thank Professor Veeranna Garu, Professor Kancha Ilaya Garu for giving their time and expressing their views on socio-religious status, Pule Ambedkar perspective. I also thank all the participants for joining the session. Thank you one and all. Session will be continued tomorrow afternoon at the same time. Thank you. Please fill the feedback form and attendance link.
Samaya Garu, sir. Yes, very nice lecture today you organized. We really enjoyed Kanchayalaya sir's lecture. It's very.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, please fill the attendance form link.
Professor, sorry for disturbance.
Yes, yes.
I am Dr. S. Ramajayam from Tamil Nadu State. I am working as a guest faculty in the Department of History in one of the government arts college near Chennai. It is my congrats and thankful to our beloved Professor Kanjaliya. Is a very legend personality on the downtrodden social thoughts. Is very, very thought-provoking session. It is very, very useful to younger researcher and budding scholars like me. Very, very thank you to one and all and the organizers. Very, very thankful to authorities of the Kakatiya University.
Thank you, sir, for your encouragement.
Thank you, Jai Bhim.
Jai Bhim, sir, for your encouragement.
Okay,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Those participants, those who filled the attendance link, please leave the hall. ఒకసారి చేద్దాం రాజకుమార్